Welcome. I'm Regemmed Eskandone, and I am delighted to be speaking again today with Sebastian Peralta, an Ayurvedic practitioner and professional based in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Seb, thanks so much for spending some time with me again today and sharing your wisdom about Ayurveda.
Well, thanks for having me. It's turning into a weekly thing.
Well, it just feels like there's so much for us to explore and to share, and we're only really touching the surface. And my inspiration for wanting to have these conversations with you is because I feel that Ayurveda is just something that, while it is becoming more commonly known in North America, it's still what I wouldn't consider widely known.
Definitely.
So I wanted to speak to you today about Panchakarma. And perhaps we could start with, what does Panchakarma mean?
Yeah, so Pancha means 5 and Karma means treatments, sessions, procedures in Sanskrit. And so Panchakarma, there's 5 different types of treatments that we would give to balance the body in different ways. So for example, one treatment is the enemas, where it reduces your vata. Another one is the purgation, where it reduces your pitta. And there's 5 of those total. And that's kind of the end goal, to reach those Panchakarma sessions, treatments. But to do that, it's usually a whole process of a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks of prep work for those treatments, essentially.
So who normally would get Panchakarma, or who would you recommend get this type of treatment?
Yeah, so the nice thing about Panchakarma is it's the Ayurvedic detox method, the Indian detox method. It's very tailored to the specific person. It's not one overall plan. It's very tailored to each individual. So most people can and should be getting Panchakarma on a regular basis.
So you're saying that most people should. Tell me a little bit more about why you would recommend that. What are the reasons and the benefits, I guess?
So, like I said, it's essentially a detox program. And as we all know, life is constantly throwing things at us, whether it's toxins in our food, or toxins in the air, or toxic relationships, or toxic weather. There's lots of things in the world that are being thrown at us constantly, every day. So to be able to balance those, to be able to manage those, to be able to be aware of even of them coming in and of them coming out, doing the Ayurvedic program Panchakarma is a great way to flush out the old to make room for the new, because it's impossible to think that you're going to be able to never have those things affect you or go inside of you. That's just not realistic. So as long as we are constantly flushing out things to make room for the new things coming in, the new toxins, the new chemicals, then we don't build up the toxins, the chemicals in our system. And that's how a lot of illnesses and diseases eventually bloom into a serious condition.
Why doesn't this happen naturally? Why is it something that we have to pause and take some time to focus on?
That's an interesting question. So our body can heal itself pretty well if it's left on its own and it's not, like I said, being bombarded by daily things. So if you're just living and you don't have to work, or you're not affected by things, then in theory you wouldn't have to do it. But like I said, that's not realistic. That's not possible. So it's it's good to kind of just keep fleshing things out and having things move through your system.
So if I decide I want to do Panchakarma, what would it entail? What would it look like for me if I recognize that, you know, I'm starting to see, a slowdown in either physical or mental abilities. I'm more reactive, whatever it is for me that I see, maybe I need a tune up, just like I tune up my car. Maybe I need to do some self-care here, and I want to do it naturally and from a system that's thousands of years old. What would it look like if I came to you for my very first Panchakarma? What would I be getting myself into?
Yeah, so the first step would be doing an Ayurvedic consultation, either with me or another Ayurvedic doctor or someone that knows how Ayurveda works. And what that'll tell us is exactly what your dosha is, so what your main body type is, as well as what your aggravation is. And we talk about what your goals are, what's bothering you, and what your history is like. And with all of that information, and then we would talk about making a schedule, budgeting, things like that. And we would create something that would be tailored to you. So once that's created, most people I see do 1 week of it. A fair amount do 2 weeks. Rarely I'll get people that do 3 or 4 weeks, but that is what I do, is I try to get 3 or 4 weeks myself when I receive Panchakarma. And so each day will be a type of treatment, and it could be the same type of treatment for 1 week, or it can change after just a few days. So there's no overall idea of what Panchakarma exactly will look like for everyone. But in general, it's going to entail coming in to see me or someone like me for treatments or sessions on a daily basis. And then at the end of each week, or at the end of the whole Panchakarma session, whether it's 2, 3, or 4 weeks, we would do one of the 5 karma treatments, right? So whether that's the enema or purgation would be different, but that's kind of the big goal, is to do one of those 5 to really flush out our system.
So I would be getting treatments every day. About how long would it be every day that I would be getting treatments?
It can vary. Typically, I'd say an hour is a safe bet to do either 2 half-hour sessions or 1 1-hour session. 2 hours is pretty common for me. Pretty common will be people doing 1 week of 2-hour sessions. The popular one is Abhyanga, so that's full body massage, and then Shirodhara, which essentially is like a mental massage. So it helps with the mind more than the physical body. So those 2 in combo is the staple of Ayurveda. And so it's very common for that I'll do 1 week of those 2 treatments. And then at the end of the week, you would do the enema or purgation session as well. And during that week or multiple weeks, ideally you would be following a Ayurvedic diet as well, which essentially just means food that is easily digestible and processed through our systems quickly. Because like I said, we don't want to add more things while we're detoxing.
So we'd have the treatments every day and we'd have the diet. Is there anything else? Like, could I be going to work? Are there any other recommendations or things that are included in the Panchakarma?
Medication, natural medication, herbs, tablets or pills or powders, those would be very good. And of course, those would differentiate between different people. But a few herbs is always a good idea. And of course, we would tell you the right ones to take. You can work during that week. It's not ideal though, because the whole idea is that you're relaxing and you're detoxing and you're cleansing. So if at the same time you're stressing out about work, having to cook dinner, babysit, taking care of kids, all of life, then you don't go quite as deep into your cleanse, into your detox. It is so ideally you take the time off work and you really, and socializing as well. So the more that you can just kind of like rest at home and, you know, spend some time outdoors, drink water, you know, simple life for that, for the Panchakarma time, that's how you'll achieve maximum results.
And then what would I expect once it's all done?
Once it's all done, so once during the process, it can be very common for your physical, but especially your mental body to react essentially to all of these changes going on. So that could be feeling, you know, tired, physically tired, or mentally just tired of coming in every day for sessions. And that's during the Panchakarma, usually midway through. Towards the end, then you start to think about the fact that, oh, I won't be getting massaged every day anymore. And so then you'll start to already be not looking forward to the ending. Once it's over, it usually takes about a third to a half of the time of Panchakarma you did. So, for example, if we did a week of Panchakarma, it takes about 2 to 3 days after that to reacclimate to your body because of all the changes that happened. So it's normal to feel a little off for a few days if you do a week. If you do 3 weeks, it could take, you know, a full week or a little more even. So there is a period after Panchakarma where ideally we're continuing to take the herbs and we're easing back into our normal diet, where we're rebalancing our system. So you could feel a little off, but then after that set period of time, that's when you start to feel stronger, more present, more alert, just more mental clarity and physical as well, hopefully.
Yeah, more energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if someone was interested in embarking on this sort of program, but they're not able to get to a practitioner, is there any way that they could, if they, you know, if there's not someone close to them, or if because of COVID restrictions they're not able to see someone in person, what would you recommend people doing in those circumstances?
Yeah, so I've done it internationally with clients before where we'll do the consultation online over Zoom or some format. So we figure out what's going on with your body. Then we would come up with a plan to do kind of just like a local Panchakarma. So we would talk about how to give self-massage, what type of oil to use, as well as the medicine and diet to follow. So some treatments you can give yourself at home, different types of massages, some local treatments you can give to yourself. Even the small enemas you can give to yourself, the purgation as well you can give to yourself, of course. So there are a number of things that you can give yourself at home. Another option that I'm doing right now with the COVID restrictions is I'm not seeing as many people. So I'm actually seeing someone, but while she's doing a full week of Panchakarma, I'm only seeing her 3 of those days. The first day, a day in the middle, and a day at the end. So that way she learns, her body learns what a full body massage is like. Her body learns to absorb the oil. And she also physically sees what it's like so she can give it to herself at home. Plus, we can chat in person about the whole process. So there are different things that you can do at home and things to still do Panchakarma.
Mm-hmm. Great. Is there anything else you want to share about Panchakarma in general before we wrap up at all, Seb? Anything that's we've kind of not covered?
Yeah, it's an amazing process. I've been doing it for nearly 10 years now. Like most people, I can't afford to do it every year, unfortunately. I especially go to India and do the full month, so it gets quite pricey. I try to go every 2 to 3 years though. And every time I think I've figured things out in the sense of I know where my body's at, I know what I need to work on, and how it's going to change during this Panchakarma. Every time I'm surprised, it changes in another way I did not expect at all. So that will happen where things will come up, physical or mental, that you may not expect, which is the whole point, right? The other thing I'd mention is if you do research about Panchakarma, they say to do it yearly for 3 to 5 years. And then after that, you can maintain, a balanced state yourself with regular treatments and diet and medicine and things. In my experience, while that may have been true hundreds of years ago, there's so many things in today's life that we're constantly being affected by. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think it would be safer to think of it as a regular thing to do however often you can do it, as just a way to reset your system.
Well, I'll lend my voice to that because I have been doing Panchakarma with you for 1 week in the spring and 1 week in the fall. I don't know if I got 6 years in or 7 years in. It's been a long time now, and my body, come springtime or fall time, just starts to crave it because I can just feel the shifts and know the benefits of going through the detoxification process. And it's also just so beautiful to be held in that space, especially, you're such an incredible practitioner. Your experience, your knowledge at this time. So it's just so lovely to have that love and care mixed with that wisdom of this very, very ancient and sacred system. So, and I too have gone to India and felt the benefits of a longer 3-week program, which is life changing. But I'll never forget the first time I did 2 weeks was with you, and I felt 10 years younger after doing that 2 weeks with you. So, Seb, I just, first of all, personally want to thank you for how you offer your gifts to the world and how much they have improved my life and the quality of my life, and I know that of so many others. And then secondly, just to thank you for sharing your wisdom with me and with everyone who's listening today. Thank you, Seb. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.